Maria Caulfield, who joins us now. Good to see you this morning. And I know there's issues you want to talk about, which we will come to, but I've got to ask you about this chaos last night. What do you make of it all? And should Mr. Speaker step down?
Well, he rightly apologised last night because the SNP only get 3 days opposition day debates in their own right, and the way that, against the advice of the clerks of the House of Commons, changed the order of how votes would be taken meant that the SNP would not get a vote on their own opposition day debate. And there feels that there was a lot of pressure. Rumours are that Keir Starmer put pressure on the Speaker because he was worried that so many Labour MPs would vote against or go against the party whip, and that we just can't have that. And that's rightly that the Speaker apologised for the chaos on such an important issue as well that many constituents contacted me about, that we then didn't proceed to an actual vote.
Is an apology enough, though, or does he need to resign? Does he need to go? Because, quite frankly, he's shown, if these claims are true, that he met Sir Keir Starmer, that Sir Keir Starmer applied pressure in this backroom deal, that he's not impartial.
Yeah, and there is concern about that. There's what's called an EDM that SNP and some Conservative MPs have signed. The Leader of the House will be meeting with him today. She did a point of order yesterday to raise concerns. She will be taking this up further because she wants to make sure that all MPs, no matter their party, have fair and equal say in House business. It's not a government matter, it is for the House of Commons, but there will be, I'm sure, questions asked today, and we'll see what happens after discussions with party leaders and chief whips of the various parties as well.
OK. I wanted to raise with you what you've come on to talk about, actually, because I don't want to diminish this at all. You're launching what are known as baby loss certificates for those women and fathers who lose a child before 24 weeks of pregnancy. Why is the government doing this? And I mean, is there a sense up until this point that people who lose a pregnancy at that stage actually are getting no recognition at all for what they're going through?
Yeah, so, this is part of a wider piece of work we're doing around pregnancy loss. We're firstly trying to reduce the number of babies that are lost through miscarriage or stillbirth or neonatal deaths, and we're making, progress on that. But there are inevitably babies that are lost. And talking to thousands of parents across the country, a baby lost before 24 weeks gestation can't currently be registered. And we're launching this morning the baby loss certificate so that parents can go onto the .gov UK website. They can register the name, the date of birth of their child, the date of their loss, and will get an official certificate recognising the life of their child, because it's for parents, they don't really care what week of gestation their baby was when they lost them. It's a devastating loss that many never ever recover from. I talk to women in their 70s who still remember that baby that they lost many years ago, and for dads too, being able to recognise the life of their child. I was with Guy Opperman yesterday, one of our Conservative colleagues who lost baby twins, and he's never been able to formally register the lives of his children, and he will be signing up today. So this doesn't take away the pain or the grief, but it's just one small recognition of the life that was lost in the babies that up until now haven't been able to be registered.
Look, as Minister for Women, I wanted to ask you about a story that is on the front page of many of the papers this morning. It is this new rules potentially listing symptoms of the menopause as a potential disability. What do you make of these new rules, and how would that possibly be implemented in the workplace?
Well, just to be clear, there aren't new rules. The Equality Act is not changing. It's always been the case that on the basis of sex or age, a case of discrimination could be brought against an employer or someone else who's discriminating against an individual. That's not changing. And we want to be really clear that we are losing women in the workplace to symptoms of the menopause. But my experience, I meet lots and lots of employers up and down the country. We're talking about women at the peak of their career, women with lots of experience who are then struggling with menopausal symptoms. Most employers I speak to actually want to keep women in the workplace and are asking for help and how to do that. That's why, as a government, we've taken on our first menopause employment champion, who goes around the country talking to different sectors about how they can support women in the workplace. Simple things like proper ventilation in the workplace, even the material of uniforms that women wear at work makes a difference. And actually, but it's a reminder that if a woman does lose her job or is discriminated against in the workplace, the existing rules do protect her around the issue of the menopause, but we are not adding additional rules to employers. Most employers actually want to support their female workforce and keep them in the workplace.
Well, they do. It's the idea that this would fall under disability discrimination. Is that correct? Because, again, some people would find that a little bit strange.
Well, there's a number of protected characteristics under the Equality Act. There's age, there's sex, there is disability. And if a woman does feel she's been discriminated, not just about the menopause, but pregnancy or for any other reason, they can obviously go to a tribunal and take action against their employer. There are no new rules specifically around the menopause. I know the Select Committee wanted to introduce menopause leave for women, and we rejected that because we want women to stay and thrive in the workplace. These are our most experienced women in the workplace, and we want to support employers. We've got the Wellbeing for Women programme where employers can sign up and get advice about how to better support women going through the menopause. The NHS has signed up to that, the Department for Health and Social Care signed up to that, Parliament signed up to that. We're leading by example, but for smaller employers it can be tricky and it's difficult to get advice, but there are really some simple things that employers can do. Flexible working, time off to go and see the GP. Again, I talked about the uniform, ventilation in the workplace, having an open culture so women can come and talk about if they're not sleeping, if they're getting brain fog or hot flushes. There's simple things that can make a big difference. But if a woman is discriminated against, the existing laws are there to support her in taking a case forward.
Wanted to ask you about childcare. This is the government introducing its programme of free childcare for under threes from next month. But having said that, this is new analysis in the Times today. 80% of nurseries said they expect to see an increase in demand for places. 3/4 of them say they're not in a position to expand. So is this plan a bit, cart before the horse? Doesn't look like it's actually fit for purpose. Are you able to meet the demands of this new free childcare?
Yeah, we're confident we can meet the demands. We've already rolled out 15 hours of free childcare to parents who earn up to a certain limit, and that has worked extremely well. Also, for those on universal credit, they also get free childcare, and there hasn't been a capacity issue there. We know that childcare costs are a significant pressure on families, and the 30 hours of free childcare will make a difference to families up and down the country. My colleagues in the Department for Education have been working on this for a while. Of course, there will be a demand for it, but when they have been engaging with the sector, they're confident that this will be delivered.
OK. Minister, good to see you this morning. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.